Hello everybody. Earth Day is coming up and I have a beautiful new book to read to you all. It's called Ocean Soup, A Recipe for You, Me, and a Cleaner Sea, and it's by Meeg Pincus and illustrated by Lucy Semple. From afar, the vast ocean appears pure and clean. How it sparkles and shimmers, a beautiful scene. But dig in a bit deeper and test a small scoop, and you'll see that up close, the sea looks more like soup. Ocean soup has been stewing for decades of days. It's been simmered by sun and congealed under haze. Many chefs made this murky confetti-like brew, a concoction of habits that bubbled and grew. It began when a new crop of products first came, used by folks unaware they'd be later to blame. They drank coffee from styrofoam cups topped with lids. And bought single-use bottles to hydrate their kids. Out to eat, they grabbed heaps of containers and straws. And at stores, they took throwaway bags without pause. They used microbead soaps, wore synthetic attire, and for parties, they blew up balloons to inspire. Do you wonder how all this produced ocean soup? How such everyday habits made saltwater goop? The real problem is plastic. It's in all that stuff. Whether hard or elastic, that plastic is tough. Once it's made, any plastic is with us to stay. It's on Earth till forever. There's no real away. People throw out their plastic and think that it's gone, but most dumps overflow. Excess trash just moves on. Much ends up in the sea, churning around the Five Gyres, the huge saltwater whirlpools where breakdown transpires. As time passes, the gyres turn the plastic to specks, which then can't be cleaned up, causing endless effects. Once the plastic's pureed in the gyre's mighty waves, it spills out as soup that no animal craves. Yet it's gulped by the dolphins, the whales, and the seals, and it's slurped by the fish and the plankton and eels. It's in icebergs, in inlets, the deep ocean floor. It's snatched up by seabirds, the turtles, and more. Ocean soup fills the bellies of all in the sea. And if we eat fish too, is it in you and me? Are you wishing those chefs had not cooked up this mess? That they'd known one-use products would cause such distress? It is time for us new chefs to enter the scene with a recipe crafted to get our seas clean. First, we call on the makers, go straight to the top, Tell them all of this plastic production must stop. Then we practice new habits, preventing more stew with reusable items and natural ones too. This won't always be easy. We'll all have to think to remember our bottles and straws when we drink. And to carry cloth bags and choose all cotton clothes. When we're offered new plastic, less yeses, more nos. Ocean soup may have simmered before we were here, but the call for us all to pitch in rings out clear. We will need many chefs to help clean up the sea, starting here in our kitchen with you and with me. So what is ocean soup? So here is a description. Ocean soup's roots began in the 1940s when inventors created plastic from leftover waste materials of coal, oil, and gas. In the 1950s, companies touted it as cheap, light, throwaway material and began mass producing it in many forms. People got used to plastic. Companies today produce nearly 400 million tons of it yearly, and less than 10% is recycled. This has led to what we call in this book ocean soup, the more than 51 trillion particles of plastic smog taking over the Earth's oceans. That's 500 times more plastic particles in the sea than stars in the galaxy. It starts with larger plastic pieces that land in the ocean and get sucked into 5 huge subtropical whirlpools called gyres. Rhymes with tires. One, the North Pole gyre, is nicknamed the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which makes it sound like we can see all the trash there and just clean it up, but we can't. The gyre's circular currents are so strong that a piece of plastic will swirl around for 10 years or more, like a very long toilet flush. Amid the currents, waves, and ultraviolet light, plastic in the gyres becomes brittle and will break down into microparticles smaller than grains of rice. These seep out into seawater around the globe, creating a toxic soup that's impossible to separate. So here are the top 4 types of plastic that pollute the world's seas. So plastic bags, plastic bottles, styrofoam cups and containers, and plastic straws. So the next most common ones, which we need to make sure we avoid, are microfibers. So polyester, nylon, spandex. So bathing suits, fleece jackets, exercise clothes, balloons, fishing gear, and micro beads, which are little tiny balls that are in certain hand soaps and toothpastes and things like that. So a recipe for cleaner oceans in 10 steps, 10 things we can do. Tell companies that you want natural, biodegradable, and recycled materials. Stop and think before you buy stuff. Ask yourself if you really need it. Commit to reusable products. Wear more natural fabric. So instead of polyester, nylon, and spandex, try to buy cotton, bamboo, or hemp clothes. Use alternatives to balloons for parties or gifts. Pass on fishing. Join cleanups of your local waterways. Find out how to properly recycle or dispose of the plastic you use. Help your communities move towards zero waste. And keep learning. So we have lots more books in the library on cleaning up the oceans if you are inspired and interested by this book. So I hope you learned a lot. I know I did. And I hope you enjoyed this beautiful book and that you'll try to follow some of the steps that they suggest to help keep our oceans from being ocean soup. Okay, guys, have a great Earth Day. Bye.